There's something that I've been healing from, and now I'm ready to talk about. You remember when we discussed this book a while ago, The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. There's a part towards the end where he describes the kinds and methods of torture that the French used on the Algerians, and I want to read it to you. And the purpose for me reading this to you is so that you understand why it's so important that we as Africans, we as weaker nations, should guard our independence and guard our nations and our borders jealously. Because the alternative is worse. Let me read this to you. It's on page 22-26 under Colonial War and Mental Disorders. I'll read. Certain methods of torture used in Algeria seemed to us to be particularly atrocious. The confidence of those who had been tortured are our reference. A. Injection of water by the mouth, accompanied by an enema of soapy water given at high pressure. And the writer's note on this is that this type of torture is a cause of a very large number of deaths. After these enemas given at high pressure, the mucous membrane of the intestine becomes in fact the seat of numerous lesions which provoke minute perforations of the intestines. Gaseous embolisms and cases of peritonitis are thus very frequently caused. B. Introduction of a bottle into the anus. Part C is two forms of torture called motionless torture. Number 1, the prisoner is placed on his knees with his arms parallel to the ground, the palms of his hand turned upwards, his torso and head straight. No movement is allowed. Behind the prisoner, a policeman sitting on a chair keeps him motionless by blows of his truncheon. The prisoner is placed standing with his face to the wall. This is the second form of motionless torture. The prisoner is placed standing with his face to the wall, his arms lifted and his hands against the wall. Here too, if he makes the slightest movement or shows the slightest sign of relaxing, the blows rain down. Here we must now point out that there are two categories of people who undergo torture. A, those who know something. B, those who know nothing. A, those who know something are very rarely seen in hospital centers. Evidently, it may be common knowledge that such and such a patriot has been tortured in the French prisons, but you never meet him as a patient. Because the note here is, we are here speaking, of course, of those Algerians who, knowing something, have not confessed under torture. For it is well known that an Algerian who confesses is killed immediately afterwards. B. On the contrary, those who know nothing come very frequently to consult us. We are not here speaking of Algerians taken prisoner during a general arrest or a roundup. They do not come to see us as patients either. We are speaking expressly of those Algerians who do not belong to any organization, who are arrested and brought to police quarters or to farms used as centers of interrogation in order to be tortured there. And in this instance where they know nothing, they torture you a bit more just to caution you that you should not go and complain afterwards or even join the militia. So can you imagine in the 21st century, in this year 2025, with the advancement of technology, advancement in medicine on all these arts, the kind of torture people would be put through if by any chance we got so careless that we would let another foreign power take over our sovereignty, our independence, our nations. That's why I'm always so passionate about Africa and our independence. Because at the end of the day, if we don't guard it, we will lose it. And the implication of losing it is then that we'll end up being treated like less than animals. Because the things that I've just described, you would not even do it to an animal. You would not do it to this tiny thing. But human beings have the capacity to do it to fellow human beings. So as you're politicking and doing all those other things, just remember that at the base of everything that we should be doing is we should be guarding our sovereignty, guarding our independence. Because the alternative is incomprehensible. The alternative is inhumane. The alternative is us losing our humanity. The alternative is not something that we can for a moment even wish on our worst enemy. The alternative is right now going on in war zones. Just think about that. That broke my heart, and it's taken a few good months for me to get to a point where I can actually talk about it. And imagine that was in the 1950s. Imagine what people can do right now.